Welcome aboard the Culture Signal. My name is Vince. Let's see what we find out there today.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great one. Is anyone out there old enough to remember the time before everybody used streaming services? Back when the only thing to watch on TV, was whatever the networks were putting out? I do. I remember everybody, watching Fresh Prince in the early 90s or Home Improvement. I remember everybody, all the girls watching Grey's Anatomy in the early 2000s. All the guys watching Fear Factor and The Man Show. And there was a kind of cultural bond with everybody watching the same things generally because there wasn't as much of a variety, as many choices as there is now. And whole seasons didn't drop at once like they do on Netflix. You had to wait every week to watch, and then on Monday everybody would get around and talk about it. Well, this article here on Yahoo Entertainment kind of goes into the same thing, so let's go over it. TV audiences are no longer necessarily watching the same things. Does that matter? A decade into the era of Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Hulu, television is a different kind of world, experts say. It's been 10 years this week since a streamer won its first Primetime Emmy, when Netflix's House of Cards took home trophies for Outstanding Cast for a Drama Series, Best Directing for David Fincher, and Outstanding Cinematography. And we know how things have gone since. By 2021, the same company took home more of the awards than any other network or platform. With the emergence of streamers, we've seen the whole business of entertainment upended, as demonstrated by the current dual strikes of writers and actors. 10 years. Can't believe it's been 10 years since House of Cards won those Emmys. That first season of House of Cards was a game changer. It was crazy. That was when Netflix really stepped their game up. That's when Netflix proved that they could do more than just stream other people's shows and actually make their own. I think. No House of Cards, no Stranger Things. Award-winning shows don't always pull in big ratings, but they do tend to reflect the state of TV. And Emmy's history confirms what we've all seen coming for decades. The way we watch TV is different now than it was in the days of Johnny Carson and even Arsenio Hall and David Letterman. With the rise of this new way of consuming TV, viewers are no longer prisoner to the whims of executives setting a TV schedule. We can watch Suits, Abbott Elementary, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or Only Murders in the Building whenever, wherever. Netflix's Orange is the New Black cemented the practice of binge watching, and we've never looked back. Binge watching is great. It's fun, it's nice, especially like my parents hadn't seen Game of Thrones until right before the start of season 8, and so they binge watched all 7 seasons in like the months leading up to it, and then were highly disappointed, and that was hilarious. But you couldn't do that without binge watching and streaming. Back in the day you had to watch one episode a week, and if you missed an episode, you missed it. But I miss weekly episodes. That is one thing that Disney Plus does do right, is by having weekly episodes. Now, they have weekly episodes of absolutely horrible shows, so it does them no favors. It just drags on the misery for them. But I feel like with One Piece, if it had been weekly instead of all dropping at once, it would actually it would last longer as far as its relevance in pop culture and in the zeitgeist of the time. Because having it all come out at once, everybody watches it and they talk about it for a few months, and then until season 2 comes out, people are gonna forget about it. But if it had come out, let's say there's 8 episodes, that'd have been 2 months, 2 months worth of TV, one episode a week. Uh, it would have dragged out how long it stayed popular. I think, and I think the first episode was strong enough to warrant breaking it up. But that's just my opinion. Ba, 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 ba. The result for audiences is that we're not always watching the same things anymore. There's less of a chance colleagues will chat about the big show that aired last night, at least the colleagues not working from home, or that we'll have that Charlie Brown moment where everyone tunes into that one airing a year of A Charlie Brown Christmas. Last year, the special streamed exclusively on Apple TV. Really? That's why I buy my media that I really like physical, and we have a copy of that on Blu-ray. The Super Bowl and live sports are exceptions. Of course, there are benefits too to sweeping changes like this in our entertainment culture, a culture that affects everything. Walt Hickey, the author of the forthcoming book You Are What You Watch, points out that we spend more than 20% of our waking hours consuming some kind of media, so it's not a fluffy subject. Television, he tells Yahoo Entertainment, is how people can learn new things about themselves, a way to develop a sense of empathy, and, perhaps more importantly, a force that shapes the world. Okay. You know, kind of a grandiose way of putting it, but he's not necessarily wrong. Hickey saw that researching his book and the way that baby names often follow pop culture trends and how beautiful places featured in a show can become tourist destinations. Meanwhile, Larry P. Gross, a professor of communication at USC, tells Yahoo Entertainment that television became a common denominator in the 1950s. And what you have for half a century, from the 50s to the end of the 20th century, is you have a kind of return to that pre industrial state where everybody is getting the same message in a way that wasn't true before and isn't true anymore. He says, naming All in the Family, The Cosby Show, and The Oprah Winfrey Show as the last shows that we all watched together. Back then, popular shows would attract as many viewers as you would expect for a big event in 2023, perhaps more. For example, the most watched show in the 2022-2023 season, excluding the NFL, was Yellowstone, with with 11.6 million viewers. Comparatively, the final episode of All in the Family in 1979 pulled in more than 40 million viewers. Damn. 40 million viewers. When the country now is like 330 million people, back then it might have been like 280, 270, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'll pop it up here, I guess. But wow, 4 times the viewership. That's everybody. Again, the next day, everybody would have been talking about that. The most obvious development in the shift in TV over the last decade or so is that the practice of a few networks dictating what we can choose to watch during primetime every night has ended. That is very true. That's very true. No longer have to watch things on their schedule and whatever they decide to air at what time. One thing that we've seen since then is that the artists and creatives who wouldn't have normally gotten a shot, get a shot, says Hickey, who's also been the president of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics. Okay. We've seen television forced to kind of innovate, and you saw the golden age of television emerge, and you saw peak TV emerge. You were able to get some really promising and genuinely artistic television that just genuinely never would have been authorized on the big three. He doubts that shows such as Mad Men or The Sopranos would have ended up on the powerful networks of yesteryear. It's kind of a different world, but I would argue that, just a little bit, it's still a monoculture, he says, of entertainment in general, citing when the movies Barbie and Oppenheimer blew up in the box office and seemed to take over this world this summer. But there have been cracks, opportunities for movies to come in and tell different stories than we've heard again and again. Hickey cites encouraging results from the Annenberg Inclusion Initiative at the University of Southern California's latest studies, which show that slight gains are being made when it comes to diversity of the people behind what we watch. Okay, yada, yada, yada. We don't all need to be talking about the same things, he says. Put it this way, wouldn't it be cool if there was one show that everybody watched every week and we could talk about that show? Sure, that would be cool. That was a defining way that a lot of things worked for a while. But I would just counter that, isn't it also cool that there's now a lot of shows, and maybe you don't watch Reservation Dogs, but maybe you really dig anime, and as a result, I'm able to talk to you about anime that we like? This year's Emmy Awards have been pushed to 2024 due to the strikes, but the nominees were announced in June. Traditional cable or HBO and its streaming arm Max landed the most nods with 127, Netflix wound up in second place with 103, Apple 50, Hulu 42, Prime 42, Disney 40, Peacock and Paramount earned 8 and 7 respectively. Okay, so, like I said, not everybody's watching the same things anymore. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I think that's up to you to decide. Personally, I miss it sometimes, but you can't beat you can't beat the convenience of the streaming. And even if I didn't stream, I own pretty much all the shows I really like to watch either on DVD or Blu-ray, so I can watch them whenever I want, in whatever order I want, at whatever time I want. And that's just the way it is now. It's never going to go back. But tell me your thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.